It was my own 35th birthday party, and my sister invited all her rich friends to celebrate at my house. They mocked my homemade decorations, laughed at my discount dress, and called me pathetic. What they didn't know, my quiet husband was about to end their careers forever. If you've ever felt humiliated by people who were supposed to care about you, this story will break your heart and then put it back together. What happens next will shock you to your core. Stay until the end because this birthday girl gets the most incredible gift of all, justice. Smash that like button if you believe karma is real. Hi everyone, I'm Gia, and I need to tell you about the most heartbreaking and shocking birthday I've ever had. What started as the worst day of my life turned into something I never could have imagined. Let me start from the beginning. I'm 35 years old, and I work as a school janitor. I know it's not glamorous, but I love the kids and I'm proud of honest work. My husband Ryan is the most wonderful man. Quiet, hardworking, and he always does odd jobs around town to help us make ends meet. We live in a small house that we're still paying off, and every month is a struggle, but we're happy together. My younger sister Amanda is, well, she's everything I'm not. She married a successful lawyer, lives in a mansion, and has all the fancy things I could never afford. Growing up, I was always the other daughter, the one who didn't go to college, who didn't marry rich, who didn't make something of herself. But you know what? I thought that was okay. I thought family was about love, not money. 2 weeks before my 35th birthday, Amanda called me with the most surprising news. "Gia, honey," she said in that sweet voice she uses when she wants something, "I want to throw you a proper birthday party. At your house, I'll invite some friends to make it really special." I was so touched, I actually started crying right there on the phone. When was the last time someone wanted to celebrate me? When was the last time I felt important? "Amanda, you don't have to do that," I said, but my heart was already racing with excitement. "No, I insist. You deserve to be celebrated. Just leave everything to me." I was over the moon. My sister wanted to honor me, to make me feel special. I spent the next 2 weeks planning and preparing. I bought a simple dress from the thrift store. It was navy blue with small flowers, and it made me feel pretty. I used my grocery money for it, but it was worth it. This was my birthday. I spent hours making decorations by hand, paper flowers, colorful streamers, little signs that said, "Happy Birthday, Gia." I know they weren't fancy, but I made them with love. I baked my own birthday cake, a simple chocolate cake with vanilla frosting. I wrote 35 and grateful on top in pink icing. Ryan watched me prepare with this gentle smile on his face. He helped me hang decorations and even took pictures of everything. "You look beautiful, Gia," he said when I tried on my new dress. "This is going to be a wonderful day." I believed him. I really did. The day of the party, I was so nervous and excited. I kept fixing my hair and smoothing my dress. When Amanda arrived, my heart sank a little. She was wearing a designer outfit that probably cost more than my monthly salary, and she had 5 other women with her, all dripping in jewelry and designer clothes. "Gia, darling," Amanda air-kissed me, being careful not to mess up her makeup. "These are my friends, Caroline, Brenda, Monica, Linda, and Janet. Ladies, this is my sister Gia." The way she said, "my sister," like she was introducing a pet or a charity case, made my stomach drop, but I smiled and welcomed them into my home. "What a charming little house," Caroline said, looking around like she was in a museum of poor people's things. "And look at these decorations," Brenda added. "Did you make these yourself, Gia?" How creative. They were being polite, but I could hear the mockery underneath. Ryan was in the kitchen, quietly preparing drinks and snacks. He always became more quiet when we had company, but I could see him watching everything. "So Gia," Monica said, settling into my best chair, "Amanda tells us you work at the school. Are you a teacher?" "I'm a janitor," I said, trying to sound proud. "I love taking care of the kids and making sure they have a clean, safe place to learn." The silence was deafening. Linda actually covered her mouth to hide a smirk. "How noble," Caroline said. "It's so important to have people who do that kind of work." The way she said that kind of work made me feel about 2 inches tall. But it got worse. "And Ryan," Brenda called to my husband. "What do you do for work?" "Odd jobs," Ryan said simply, not looking up from arranging crackers on a plate. "Whatever needs doing." I saw Amanda's friends exchange glances. I knew what they were thinking, that we were both failures, both beneath them. "Well," Amanda said loudly, "let's get this party started. Gia, why don't you show everyone around your lovely home?" I gave them a tour of our small house, and with every room, I felt smaller and smaller. They made comments about the vintage furniture, my grandmother's hand-me-downs, the cozy rooms, tiny, and the unique decorating style. We couldn't afford to redecorate. When we came back to the living room, I overheard Caroline whispering to Janet, "I can't believe Amanda dragged us here. This is like visiting a museum of how the other half lives." "She's such a charity case," Janet whispered back. "Amanda always talks about her poor sister who never made anything of herself." My heart shattered. I excused myself to the bathroom and cried silently for 5 minutes. When I came back, I tried to act normal, but inside I was dying. Then came time for the cake. I was so proud of my homemade creation. I carried it out on my grandmother's cake stand, smiling despite my hurt feelings. "I made this myself," I said, setting it down carefully. "Chocolate with vanilla frosting." "How sweet," Caroline said, standing up to get a better look. "It's so homemade." As she leaned over to examine it, her elbow accidentally knocked into the cake stand. I watched in horror as my beautiful cake went flying, landing upside down on the floor. "Oh my goodness," Caroline gasped, but I saw the smirk she tried to hide. "I'm so sorry. How clumsy of me." I dropped to my knees, trying to save what I could of the cake. All those hours of work, all that love I put into it, destroyed. "Don't worry about it, Gia," Brenda said. "We can just order a real cake from the bakery." A real cake. As if mine wasn't real. As if my effort and love meant nothing. "Actually," Amanda said, standing up, "this is perfect timing for my speech." She raised her wine glass and everyone gathered around. I was still on the floor, trying to clean up cake crumbs, but I listened. "I want to toast my sister Gia," Amanda began. "Gia has always been different from me. While I went to college and built a career, Gia chose a simpler path. She's always been happy with less, a small house, a simple job, a quiet life. Some people might call it settling, but I call it accepting your limitations." The room was silent except for a few uncomfortable laughs. I felt like I was being dissected in front of strangers. "Gia tries so hard," Amanda continued. "Look at these decorations she made by hand. This cake she baked herself. She puts so much effort into everything, even if it doesn't quite measure up to what others might do. But that's what makes her special. She doesn't know any better." I couldn't breathe. My own sister was humiliating me at my own birthday party. The women were all nodding and smiling like they were watching a documentary about sad people. "So here's to Gia," Amanda raised her glass higher, "who reminds us all to be grateful for what we have and to never take our blessings for granted." They all drank to that, to my failure, to my limitations, to my simple, small life. I couldn't take it anymore. I ran to my bedroom and collapsed on the bed sobbing. This was supposed to be my special day. Instead, it was the most humiliating experience of my life. A few minutes later, Ryan came in. He sat on the bed and pulled me into his arms. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," he whispered. "I'm so sorry they're treating you this way." "Maybe they're right," I cried. "Maybe I am just a failure. Maybe I never made anything of myself." "Don't you dare say that," Ryan said firmly. "You are the most incredible woman I know. You have the biggest heart, the strongest spirit, and the most beautiful soul. They don't deserve to breathe the same air as you." Just then, his phone rang. I was about to tell him to ignore it, but he looked at the caller ID and his expression changed. "I have to take this," he said. "Hello?" "Yes, Mr. Patterson, I understand." "No, that acquisition can wait until Monday." "Yes, I'll review the contracts then." I stared at him. "Mr. Patterson? Acquisition?" Contracts? This didn't sound like someone talking to a handyman. Ryan, I said slowly. Who was that? He looked at me with such love and sadness in his eyes. Gia, sweetheart, I need to tell you something. I should have told you years ago, but I was afraid. Afraid of what? I'm not who you think I am. I mean, I am. I'm still the same man who loves you more than life itself. But I'm the chairman of Mitchell Holdings. I own most of the commercial real estate in this city. I'm worth, well, billions. I thought I was hearing things. What? I grew up poor, Gia. Really poor. When I made my first $1 million, I swore I'd never forget where I came from. I've been living simply because I wanted to stay connected to real people, to real love. When I met you, I knew you loved me for who I was, not what I had. That was everything to me. My head was spinning. You're rich? Very rich. And Amanda's husband works for one of my companies. So do most of the husbands of the women out there. They have no idea who I am because I use a management company to run things, and I've never appeared in public as the owner. I sat there in shock. My husband, my quiet, humble husband, was one of the richest men in the city. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was afraid you'd change. I was afraid you'd love me differently. But watching them hurt you tonight, I can't stand it anymore. They need to learn what real value looks like. He showed me his phone. He had been taking pictures and videos all evening. All the cruel comments, all the mockery, all the humiliation. What are you going to do? I asked. He smiled, but it wasn't his usual gentle smile. This was something else entirely. I'm going to give you the birthday present you deserve. Come on. We walked back to the living room together. The women were still there, now openly going through my things and making comments about my quaint lifestyle. Ladies, Ryan said softly, I hope you're enjoying the party. Oh, we are, Caroline said. Gia, your husband is so sweet and so quiet. You hardly know he's here. Actually, Ryan said, pulling out his phone, I've been here the whole time, taking pictures, documenting everything. He started showing them the photos he'd taken, pictures of them mocking the decorations, laughing at the cake, whispering cruel comments. These are fascinating, Ryan said calmly. Especially this one of you knocking over the cake, Caroline. And this recording of your speech, Amanda, really captures the character of everyone here. The women looked confused, but I could see Amanda starting to worry. I'm thinking of having these printed and framed, Ryan continued, maybe sent to some people who might find them interesting, like your husband's law firm, Caroline, or Monica's husband's accounting practice, or Linda's family business. What are you talking about? Brenda demanded. Ryan smiled. I'm talking about Mitchell Holdings. You know, the company that owns the building where Caroline's husband works? The company that's Monica's husband's biggest client? The company that Linda's family business desperately wants to work with? The blood drained from their faces. That's impossible, Amanda whispered. Mitchell Holdings is owned by some reclusive billionaire. Ryan Mitchell, my husband said simply. Nice to meet you. Again. The silence was deafening. I watched as the realization hit them. They had spent the evening humiliating the wife of one of the most powerful men in the city. This is impossible, Caroline stammered. You live in this tiny house. You do odd jobs. I choose to live simply, Ryan said. I choose to work with my hands. I choose to be married to a woman who has more class and dignity in her little finger than all of you put together. He walked over to me and took my hand. This is my wife, Gia. She works as a school janitor because she loves children and wants to make their world better. She bakes cakes from scratch because she puts love into everything she does. She makes decorations by hand because she believes in personal touches. She is the most successful person I know because she has never lost her heart. The women were now pale and shaking. Amanda looked like she might faint. Now, Ryan continued, I have some phone calls to make. Caroline, your husband's lease is up for renewal next month. I'll be sure to mention tonight's events to my property managers. Monica, your husband's accounting contract is also up for review. Linda, your family's loan application is on my desk. And Brenda, your husband's company has been hoping to land that downtown development project. He paused, looking at each of them. Amanda, your husband works for Peterson, Clark & Associates. They're one of my subsidiary companies. I'll be having a chat with the partners about the kind of character they want representing their firm. Ryan, please, Amanda begged. I'm her sister. You didn't mean to humiliate your sister at her own birthday party? You didn't mean to mock her job, her home, her efforts? You didn't mean to stand by while your friends destroyed her cake and called her a failure? The room was silent except for the sound of Caroline starting to cry. Please, she whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry you said it or sorry you got caught? Ryan asked. I watched these women who had seemed so powerful and superior just minutes ago now crumbling in front of me. But you know what? I didn't feel good about it. I felt sad. Ryan, I said softly, can I say something? He nodded and stepped back, giving me the floor. I want you all to know that I forgive you, I said. Not because you're sorry now, but because holding on to anger would poison my heart. But I also want you to understand something. I looked at each of them, including my sister. I am not less than you because I work with my hands. I am not less than you because I live in a small house. I am not less than you because I shop at thrift stores or bake my own cakes. My worth isn't measured by my bank account or my job title. My voice got stronger as I continued. I get up every morning and make the world a little better. I clean schools so children can learn in a safe environment. I love my husband not for what he has, but for who he is. I make things with my own hands because I believe in putting love into the world. I looked directly at Amanda. And I am not your charity case. I am not your example of what not to be. I am your sister and I deserved better from you. Amanda was crying now. Gia, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I was trying to impress them and I threw you under the bus. I'm so ashamed. Good, I said simply. You should be. Ryan put his arm around me. Ladies, I think this party is over. You can see yourselves out. As they gathered their purses and prepared to leave, Caroline turned back to me. Gia, for what it's worth, your cake looked delicious. And your decorations were beautiful. They were made with love. And that's something money can't buy. Thank you, I said. That means more to me than you know. After they left, it was just Ryan, Amanda, and me. Amanda sat in the corner, crying quietly. I ruined everything, she whispered. I ruined my marriage, my reputation, everything. No, Ryan said, you ruined tonight. But you can fix the rest if you really want to. It starts with understanding why what you did was wrong. I was jealous, Amanda admitted. I've always been jealous of you, Gia. You're so content, so happy with what you have. I have everything I thought I wanted, but I'm miserable. I thought if I could make you feel small, it would make me feel bigger. Oh, Amanda, I said, my heart breaking for her. I've been jealous of you too. I thought you had the perfect life. I have the perfect stuff, she said. But I don't have what you have. I don't have a husband who loves me the way Ryan loves you. I don't have work that makes me feel useful. I don't have joy. We talked for another hour, really talked for the first time in years. Amanda apologized over and over, and I could see she really meant it. We agreed to work on rebuilding our relationship, but it would take time. After she left, Ryan and I sat in our living room, surrounded by my homemade decorations and the mess from the party. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the money, he said. I should have trusted you. Why didn't you? I asked. Because I've seen what money does to people. I've seen marriages destroyed by it, families torn apart. When I met you, you loved me when I was just a guy who fixed your neighbor's fence. That love was pure. I didn't want to risk changing it. You couldn't change it, I said. Money doesn't change who you are in your heart. He smiled. I know that now. So what do you want to do with all this wealth? We could buy a mansion, travel the world, anything you want. I looked around our small, simple house with its hand-me-down furniture and homemade decorations. "I want to stay right here," I said. "This is our home. This is where we built our love. But maybe we could help other people. Fund scholarships for kids who need them. Support programs for working families." "I love you so much," Ryan said, pulling me close. "I love you too." And Ryan, this was the best birthday present ever. What was? Learning that the man I married is exactly who I thought he was. Rich or poor, you're still the same Ryan who holds me when I cry, who helps me hang decorations, who loves me for who I am. That's worth more than all the money in the world. We slow danced in our living room to no music, just the sound of our hearts beating together. My 35th birthday had started as the worst day of my life, but it ended as one of the best. I learned that my worth isn't determined by other people's opinions. I learned that real love protects and defends. And I learned that sometimes the most beautiful gifts come wrapped in the most painful experiences. The next Monday, Ryan made good on his promises. Caroline's husband was told his lease wouldn't be renewed. Monica's husband lost his biggest client. Linda's family business was rejected for their loan, and Amanda's husband was called in for a performance review that made it clear his wife's behavior reflected poorly on the firm. But you know what? Within a month, most of them had reached out to apologize sincerely. Some even became real friends. People can change when they're forced to confront their own cruelty. Amanda and I worked on our relationship. It wasn't easy, but we got there. She started volunteering at the school where I work, and she finally found the joy she'd been missing. As for me, I kept working as a janitor because I love it. I kept making things by hand because it fills my soul. I kept living in our small house because it's home. The only thing that changed was my confidence. I walk taller now, knowing that my worth comes from within, not from what others think of me. And every birthday since then, Ryan and I celebrate quietly at home. I make my own cake, put up my own decorations, and remember the night I learned that the most precious thing in life isn't money or status. It's being loved for exactly who you are. Sometimes the best birthday gift isn't what you unwrap. It's discovering how much you're truly loved. If this story reminded you that you're worth more than anyone's opinion, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories. And remember, never let anyone make you feel small, because you never know who's watching and ready to lift you up. What's the best birthday gift you've ever received? Let me know in the comments below.